adorable, Mom.
They're not so delicate, and at least one of them.
You don't talk to my damn dad like that, you hear me?
Gets violent. That's Amber attacking her then-fiancé Gary last year. Their baby girl, Leah, was in the room, and it's happened again.
Amber?
No, I swear to God, I wish I was bigger than you. I'd beat your ass.
One more hit.
This time on the show, Amber hit, kicked, and punched Gary when he threatened to report her for being a bad mom. Police in their hometown of Anderson, Indiana, have launched a criminal investigation into Amber's behavior. And now Child Protective Services is investigating too. In Indiana, domestic violence in front of a child under 14 can be a felony.
Were you blacked out or whited out? Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
You didn't know what you were doing.
Amber talked about the violence Tuesday night on an MTV reunion special.
I don't remember it being like that. I feel like I hit him one time, and I watched him hitting him multiple times.
Amber calls herself a teenage party girl, a high school dropout who got pregnant. This week, Life and Style magazine put her on the cover, calling Amber an out-of-control monster.
There are critics who say that MTV or the production company should have stepped in and stopped the scenes, especially because they occurred in front of their baby daughter, Leah.
Amber, quit.
After seeing this latest fight, investigators went to Amber's home and found evidence that they say warrants their attention, though officials won't tell us what that evidence is. One thing is clear.
You're an idiot!
The show is growing in popularity, and the stakes couldn't be higher.
As we're all glued to the television set watching this train wreck, we need to be cognizant that these are real lives, real situations, and that there is the mental health of this child who's at stake here.
Important to note here, no charges have been filed, and while officials could take her baby away, so far, Matt, that has not happened. MTV would not comment on any of it.
It is so disturbing. Yeah. Jeff Rawson, thank you very much. Dr. Janet Taylor is a psychiatrist. Dan Abrams is NBC's chief legal analyst. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning, Matt.
Help me out. I mean, it seems pretty cut and dry.
No, I mean, as a legal matter, if the prosecutors decide they want to prosecute, they've got all the evidence they need right there on the tape. Because remember, what is a battery legally? It means touching someone in an angry way in the state of Indiana without bodily injury. Let's assume he wasn't even injured. That could be a misdemeanor, punishable up to 6 months.
This guy sat there and took this for an awfully long time. And he has not pressed charges. Does he have to for the charges to be brought?
He wouldn't have to. Meaning, when we talk about pressing charges, that's something that the state does. Right. He would be a key witness. But again, when you've got the videotape, in a way you don't need the witness the way you might ordinarily in another case.
People are now saying this can go another step. Not only could she face battery charges, but Child Services is now involved looking at this. Could she lose custody of her daughter who was in the room for one of these assaults?
She could. That's a pretty draconian measure, meaning to take the child away from a parent is sort of the ultimate punishment when it comes to child services. But there's no question that if they see the totality of the circumstances and they determine that she's an unfit mother, they could do that. Remember, also, anyone who witnessed it in the state of Indiana...
Well, I'm glad you say that. Yeah. There was a crew here shooting this. Should they not have put the camera down and stepped in and dragged these two apart?
If the prosecutors decide to get aggressive here, they could actually prosecute people who had reason to believe that child abuse was occurring. They could prosecute them for a misdemeanor for not reporting it.
Janet, the little girl is 2 years old. Mm-hmm. Now, she witnessed some of this. What is the impact of something like that on a young child?
Well, it's all exposure, because being exposed to domestic violence, these kids who witness it are more likely to be battered, just in the aftermath, and also from a self-esteem standpoint, and just being witness to violence and negativity and abuse really puts her at risk. And as Dan said, not only is it a punishment for the parents, but we also have to protect our children. So I think the good news is the video camera was there, because now we have evidence and that you can really investigate it. But we have the camera crew,
One of the things that makes me queasy in all this is, okay, first of all, we make the mistake of sometimes calling the people on this show the stars of this show. These aren't stars, these are people. And when you put someone like this young lady on the cover of a magazine like Life and Style, and even if you label her a monster, in the reality TV world, I think a monster is almost a compliment. That makes her one of the ones people are paying attention to. Are we just glamorizing this? We've had this segment on our show.
Well, on the one hand, it's entertainment, but on the other hand, it's an opportunity to get some real help for her and intervention and show people how parenting causes stress, but you have to learn how to handle conflict and certainly not expose your children to violence.
But there's no question, you're right. I mean, that she's become the star, right? I mean, and the bigger star you become, even if you're the person everyone loves to hate, the more valuable you become. And then you do the therapy session afterwards where you try and bring them down.
The reunion.
The reunion. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the amazing part, is that she's disclosing this to the doctor in the reunion episode, because it continues.